First communication might not even have always been conscious. Possibly a lot of it consisted of unconscious comments that we even still use today. When you hit your pinky
Are you from Ukraine?
toe and scream a violent curse in an empty room.
So this is how language came according to atheists. So the subhuman stepped on a Lego or something, and then it went ah, ooh ah ah, ooh ah ooh, and then language was born. Number one, that has always happened. There has always been a creature which has suffered pain and released a sound showing pain. And it has conveyed by that sound that it was in pain. And by the intensity of the sound, it has conveyed the intensity of the pain. So there is no need for language. It does not follow logically that there would be a language based on screaming in pain or howling in pain. Non sequitur fallacy. That's how atheists explain language, by a fallacy.
Who are you saying it to? The natural selection, then, should have prioritized those who produce the most.
So it is not clear to you. You're saying that if a chimp touches fire and it screams, then it's not clear that they are in pain and they need to develop a word. Fire hurt me. Then it is clear that they are in pain. That is absurd, woman. Have you questioned this? Of course not. You do not question it. You are just reading a script. You don't think about what you have been inculcated into believing. You are not a free thinker, atheists. She is from Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is atheistic because of mass murders by communist holocaust. That's how atheism, the cancer, spreads. It can never spread by reason. Now this atheist myth says, saying ouch or just a random scream isn't enough to be clear. To convey that there is pain, you have to develop language. That's non sequitur, constant non sequitur, ad hoc fallacy. No science,
signals,
just bullshit.
And those who were able to decode them.
Oh, you need to decode that they're in pain when they yell in pain. Woman! So again, that needs to be decoded. You need them to write a word to let you know that they're in pain? No. Writing and language to the human level of complexity or close are not logically following pain and yelling from pain. There's no need to decode something so obvious, woman.
With time, speech
Bullshit.
became the primary communication type, and more
Bullshit.
words appeared.
Cow shit.
At some
Pig
point,
shit.
the speech of these ancient proto-humans may have resembled
Ancient proto-humans. There are humans today who look just like these people. You give them a haircut. You give them a t-shirt. You can find them today. But of course they're not European enough, so they must be subhuman, right? Yeah. You see the racist vibe here. Racist, atheist bullshit. So it's the Bible's explanation of God did it, one miracle, versus countless miracles coinciding in the same small window of time for languages to rise independently because there are different language families which do not share a common ancestry. So many miracles versus one, and the many miracles explanations is a racist one with subhuman blacks involved. Which one are you going to choose, people? Oh, the popular racist one, of course, not the truth. God did it.
simplified vocabulary, no grammar. But we know what.
No grammar? Woman, you don't know language, do you? You don't know language, do you? No grammar. If you say rock hurt, that is grammar. It's just not complicated.
A pidgin language. Simplified vocabulary, no grammar.
So she doesn't understand language.
But
and she's talking about language.
What happens to pigeons? When they become native languages, they obtain their grammar.
They obtain their grammar? You're confusing standardized grammar with grammar. There's a difference, lady. when people write something down and say it's official, that's not the same as it began to exist. It begins before it is official. This lady doesn't understand language, and she's talking about grammar. Like Noam Chomsky talking about language like he's an expert when he doesn't even know what the brain is in comparison to the mind. He doesn't know what the mind is. He believes the mind is the brain. He believes the free is a slave. He contradicts himself.
In the inception of language.
Mind is free to think. That's irrefutable. If you object to that, you disqualify yourself from debate. I debate only with thinkers.
When humans' capacity of seeing patterns of
blah blah blah, bullshit.
To that moment, the process which was quickly picked up Heidelbergensis might have noticed structure in this chaotic ocean of words, giving birth to a
So wait. She says that the first grammar came about because someone wanted to put order into an ocean of words. How do you get an ocean of words in the first place from ouch, I'm in pain, because he stepped on fire or something, or got a splinter? How does that lead to an ocean of words? Look how atheists cheat. They cheat. They can't account for the ocean. They start to try to explain one word, which is a word for pain, which they can't even account for because there's no need for it, because yelling in pain does the job of conveying that you're in pain. So they can't even account for one word, and from this one word they jump to the conclusion of an ocean of words already existing without God to provide the language. And how do you have a notion of words without grammar in the first place? How do you have these words without any relation between them? That's nonsense. Bullshit.
Which was quickly picked up by others. At that moment, the process was already picked up by others.
Quickly picked up or conveniently picked up by others? Look at all these ad hoc things you have to imagine. Imagine. Atheists have only imagination and faith, and misinterpreting things into their racist narrative. They have nothing. Picked up by others. So if someone says roko instead of so let's say a proto-human, imaginary proto-human, is in pain, and then they say so they're in pain. That conveys that they're in pain. Everyone understands that. It's pretty obvious and simple. So there's no need for a word for that. But let's say someone makes a word for that. Let's say that the word for pain is choo-choo. So then they say choo-choo, and other people, other proto-people, let's imagine, they pick up the word choo-choo. So when they're in pain, they're like, and then another one says, choo-choo. You don't say you say choo-choo. But they can't say you don't say you say choo-choo, because they don't have language to explain that. But they just say choo-choo instead because the story has to be developed. Language has to be done. They need to do it, or else atheists can't account for language. That has to come about mindlessly, or it can't happen. Why would they pick it up? You don't give a reason for them to pick it up. There is no reason here. There's no reason involved. There's no reason for them to use a word when does the job.
At that moment, the process was already unstoppable.
You're saying that it was, as if it happened. No, it didn't happen. It's all in your imagination, lady.
That was my take on this complex.
Why are you smiling like you accomplished something?
Unstoppable.
You didn't accomplish anything. You have just broadcast that you don't know what language is, let alone the origin. You didn't even try to tackle the problem that you have, because I got the solution. The problem that you atheists have of having to explain all of the language families arising independently from one another. You can't account for even one language, let alone all language families arising independently. Many miracles, and you don't even face the problem, the real problem that you have. You're trying to fight the one claw of the dragon without looking up and seeing the real size of the beast that you cannot deal with. Word.